officially turned around, guys. We are back, baby. We are fucking back.
We're back.
Yeah.
Classic. We are back.
That's
we
right.
are back.
Welcome back. We are finally back on working on the Camaro again. So in the off time, I've been getting lots of parts ready for the build and getting everything set up, ready to go for the next phase of the project, which basically at this point is going to be it's going to be getting all the parts needed for the motor. So Ward Auto Racing in Texas has helped me out quite a bit. Gave me the shirt, gave me some good deals on the top end parts, which I've got here. We've got some stock 2JZ shimless buckets I got from Toyota. Everything else for the top end I believe I got from Ward Auto Racing, which is a big help from everything. So special shout out to him. Look at some of the stuff here. We've gone with a lot of parts from GSC. We've got the valve guides from GSC. We got Powerhouse Racing cam gear. Went with conical springs from GSC, which are all down here in this bigger box. I've got ended up going, instead of the GSC S2 274 cams, went with the BC Stage 3 Plus 276 cams. The reason for the swap there was I found out that the billet GSE S2s were going to be hard over time on the buckets. They didn't want to do damage, and the 276 cams seemed to make a little bit more power and still really good drivability, so that was why the swap for that. Also, from Ward Auto Racing, I've got a good deal on a used ATI super damper. Haven't even opened it up yet, so take a look at it here. There we go. So we decided to go with Naber Racing up in Michigan to build the motor, do all the machine work. I was going to have the machine shop here local to me in Fort Wayne do it, but they've never really done a 2JZ to the level of what I'm wanting to do, so I felt more comfortable going with a known shop that specializes in 2JZs. Did some shopping around, talked to a lot of people off recommendation from Dennis, a friend of mine, who I ended up getting that front sump from way back at the beginning of the project, if you recall. He's buddies with Safe Neighbor, who owns Naber Racing, and I ended up calling him, and he got me a good price and a good estimate on everything, and I think he's really, really competent on building all the stuff, so we're going to go with him for the engine build. So really the next phase of everything is going to be to take everything out of the car to make room for pulling the engine, and then we're going to pull the engine and bring it up to Naber Racing to have the machine and build the motor. And while that's done, we're going to get the car back over to Blake's house, and Blake's going to start working on the fuel system, and we're going to start working on getting the ECU in for the Haltech and everything else needed to get the car going. So without further ado, we'll snap to the garage. And just like that, we're in my barn. I know I said garage, that's barn. Anyway, so I've got the Camaro all set up behind me here. Getting ready to open it up and pull the motor. I've got my oldest here, Say hello, Blaze.
Hi, boy. Hi.
Okay, and then here's Vincent over there. They're gonna be my 2 helpers for today, along with my fur balls that will probably get more in the way than anything. All right. So basically what we need to do is want to take off the cooling system, the intercooler, and just have it basically all set up so nothing's in the way, and then Blake's going to come over in about a week or so and pull the motor out. Then we'll have it all set to bring up and get built. So without further ado, we'll start working.
A little later.
All right, so we've got the big stuff out. You kind of watched me pull the cooling system, the intercooler, charge piping, radiator fans, radiator out. Now we've pulled turbo manifold, and we've got the intake manifold off as well. So got pretty much everything we need out of the way to pull the motor. Got everything kind of aligned over here on the ground. So we're pretty much set to pull the motor. What I've got left today to do is I'm just going to pull off some of the little bracketry and stuff and just try and get everything out of the way. So when Blake does come over to pull the motor out, I don't have anything miscellaneous just sticking on the motor. And that's all ready to go to Naber Racing for the engine build. Thanks for joining us. Oh, I want to show one more thing. So yesterday, I don't know if you guys remember the last video, but we had the car kind of facing that end of the barn, and I had to turn it around. So by pushing and pulling and yanking the wheel, I did a little damage to what was ground off of my steering shaft here. Now, this was done previously because the previous setup of the car was the turbo LT1, and my exhaust manifold for the car came right here, and there literally was just no room, and I was faced with nothing else other than to grind this down until it's the mangled mess you see now, and it was paper thin, but it worked. This is honestly a blessing in disguise because it's probably going to come apart at some point in time, and much better to come apart in my barn going a quarter 3 mile an hour rather than 150. So got a new steering shaft on order. I'll put that in here shortly, and then we got plenty of room now with the 2J in here, so I'll be able to fix that up and make it right, make it how it should be. So what we're looking at next is pulling the motor, getting it out, getting it fixed, and then getting the car over to Blake's house, and then going from there.
The following day.
Okay, you know what happens when you get too much time on your hands? You usually decide to do things you probably wouldn't have otherwise. So because I did that, I'm gonna go ahead and try to pull the motor by myself without Blake on the Camaro. We'll see how successful or unsuccessful all this happens in time lapse. Likely if I break something big, you'll probably never see this. All right, I'm gonna try and pull it myself, and then we'll set it over here on this fine tire I have here and get it all ready to take over to get fixed. All right. All right, well, wasn't so impossible. I don't think I damaged anything too permanent. So, able to disconnect the transmission from the engine. It's kind of a steep angle up there. It probably could have been done better, and I'm sure would have been done better if someone more knowledgeable like Blake was the one pulling it. But save him some hassle and get it done a little bit earlier. So there she is, engine pulled. Next phase, find time to bring it up to Naber Racing. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.